Hello and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing really well. So today's video is a little bit different. Normally I randonaut in London, but tomorrow I'm going on a day trip to St. Leonard's-on-Sea. Now you may be wondering why St. Leonard's? So basically many years ago I met somebody through my day job and him and I got talking and we were specifically talking about the architecture in London and how beautiful it is. And basically he told me that the same property developer who created Regent's Park, he also created St. Leonard-on-Sea. So I think that Regent's Park architecture is absolutely beautiful. So he told me that I would really enjoy St. Leonard-on-Sea. So that's why I'm going there. My Randonautica journey intention is going to be to have a beautiful, magical day in St. Leonard's. So I'm going to be visualizing like tarot cards, crystals, dream catchers, that kind of vibe, because I love that kind of stuff. So, I've been charging. My tarot cards are charging behind me right now. They're right here. They're charging under this beautiful crystal. Also, let me know, guys, if you would be interested in me doing tarot readings on this channel as well. But anyways, so here's the thing. There's a full moon coming up. This is why these guys are out to charge. There's a full moon on the 10th. Today is the 8th of July. I'm going to St. Leonard's on the 9th, tomorrow. And I don't know what's been happening this past week, but the energy around me has been so heavy and it's been such a shift change. So I'm hoping that a trip will shift my energy. And so I'm also kind of like looking for like a healing spiritual trip. So that's why my intention is going to be to have a magical day out in St. Leonard's. Yes. So this was my outfit going to St. Leonard's. I love this outfit for traveling in the summer just because the silhouette is so nice and flowy and the materials are really breathable. So yeah, I kind of chose this outfit just because this has essentially been my go-to summer travel outfit this year. And when I was on the train, it was a 2 hour and 20 minutes train, so I had to keep myself entertained somehow. And I was reading this book called Kvantehism by Andrzej Dragan. I was actually holding it upside down, so that's the way it goes. Andrzej Dragan, he is a physicist, and I will try to get the English name for you up here, guys, just in case if you want to read it in English. But yeah, he talks about quantum physics, and the reason why I'm interested in quantum physics is, of course, because there is a strong correlation in the manifestation community between quantum physics and manifesting. And let me just tell you, before we go further into this man is not about that at all. He doesn't seem to like philosophers, and he certainly doesn't seem to like spiritual thinkers who believe that there is a link between the two. But that's okay, because we always have our holographic universe book, which does make those links. So anyways, this guy is just direct, to the point scientist, and he covers all of those complex topics really well. So it's a super interesting book to read, and a lot of the experiments, the quantum physics experiments discussed in the holographic universe, which I've spoken about before on this channel, are also covered in this book. So it's kind of cool to get the two perspectives, I guess, like the sort of like sciencey perspective and the more spiritual perspective. But yeah, so the reason why I'm saying this is because this book kind of affected the sort of energy that I was going into St. Leonard's with. I find it really interesting, by the way. But anyhow, I arrived in St. Leonard's and immediately I was like, I love this place. Wow, like so cool. I'm gonna put a little montage here of some of my favorite places, but just to give you guys an overall vibe of how I was feeling walking around St. Leonard's, I felt like I was in some kind of dream world. I thought it was beautiful. The energy was great. It's a very artsy town. And I did want to mention one building in particular. I think it's called the Marina Court. I will flash the name here on screen. So this building to me, I mean, I was mesmerized by it. Like when I saw it, it's right on the seaside. It's massive. The way that it's kind of structured as you approach it, obviously the perspective changes. And as those balconies, the wraparound balconies go around it as you approach it, it kind of like has almost like a melting, swirly effect. I adore it. Beautiful building. This building gave me like it just gave me like a really strong sense of deja vu. And I seriously started suspecting that possibly I have lived there before, like in an alternate timeline. And I think when you get a sense of deja vu, it's kind of like your higher self inviting you to do something differently. But yes, so I did a little bit of sightseeing and then I was just sitting by the seaside looking at the horizon. Um, and I was just kind of taking everything in. It was so beautiful and I was just enjoying the moment. And by that point, I'd sort of seen everything that was on my list in terms of like sightseeing. So I thought it would be a good moment to do my Randonautica intention. But the thing is, because my day was already so magical, that intention that I was going into the day with to kind of like have a magical day in St. Leonard's, it kind of like fulfilled itself, if you know what I mean. Like, I was already feeling like I was having the most magical, dreamy experience, especially with the deja vu. But then I had this book on my mind. And so in this book, he talks about the event horizon, which, as far as I understand, is a point that we cannot reach. So it's when you travel faster than light, then you reach the event horizon. And I was myself looking at the horizon and, you know, it really captivated my imagination. And I think in this book specifically, which I haven't finished yet, when he presents his theory, I think it will be about what happens beyond the event horizon, and talking about how particles might behave on the other side of the, let's call it the light barrier. Yeah, I just had those ideas in my mind. And looking at the horizon, I decided to ask Randonautica what happens beyond the event horizon, right? So, yeah, so that was my intention. And I was really happy because it generated an attractor point, which I haven't had in a while. And it also generated it in a place that I could easily access. So that also hasn't happened in a while. So yeah, it was great. I went there. It was kind of like a field. I did feel like it was eerily quiet, like, and empty. Um, but I think that's just to do with me coming from London, you know, like such a big city that is so densely populated, and then going into like rural England. It's just, yeah, I think I'm just not used to not seeing people around me constantly. But yeah, I found it like quite eerily quiet and empty. But yes, it was, the location was on this like field path. Um, and I did look at what was sort of further down. I did consider going further down that path to see where it leads. But I could see like a caravan at the end, and I thought, you know, I don't really want to disturb someone if that's where they live. When I arrived at that point, I felt like a real sense of peace. It just felt really good, and the sun was hitting so nicely, and the light was great, and it had a good aura, that space. And right on cue, there were two white butterflies, which to me was kind of like a throwback to my first Randonautica journey. I have spoken about it on this channel before, but when I first started randonauting, my first intention ever was to manifest a butterfly, and it worked, and I manifested a white butterfly in a very similar setting. So I don't know, that was like a nice throwback for me. And yeah, it kind of gave me like a sense of peace, which I can't really describe, but hopefully you guys will kind of understand where I'm coming from. It just felt really reassuring. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And then I walked back to the seaside. I walked back to that building that I became slightly obsessed with, the one that I had a strong sense of deja vu for. And I found a restaurant there called, I think, Half Human, Half Burger or something like this. And I had a vegan burger there. It was delicious. And that burger, I'm giving it 11 out of 10. It was amazing. And yeah, it was almost time for me to go home. But I thought I've got time for one last Randonautica thing. And because I didn't do the intention that I said I was going to do at the beginning of the video, I thought maybe it was a good opportunity to kind of do that. So I set my intention as having a magical day, and I did think of like the tarot cards and like the dream catchers and all of those magical vibes that we were talking about earlier. But as I say, that intention was kind of redundant because I already had such a magical day. But anyways, I'm a Virgo. I like to stick to the plan, and that was the plan. So I just followed the plan. So yeah, it led me to a point sort of nearer, sort of more inwards, not by the coast, but like in St. Leonard's. Um, and it wasn't that interesting, but it was pretty cool to see that as you go further into St. Leonard's, the architecture remains really beautiful and like magical, and it's just a great little town. I think my point landed in like an NHS practice, but yeah, there wasn't really anything there for me to sort of mention, and I just wanted to go back to the seaside for one last time, so I did that, and then it was time to go back home. Just want to mention a couple of things. So with the kind of full moon energy that I was talking about at the beginning of this video, so I filmed the sort of energy vibes on the 9th of July. No, I filmed the energy vibes on the 8th of July. 9th of July, I went to St. Leonard's. 10th of July, the full moon finally happened, and the sort of full moon vibes for me were so strong at that point. And so I met up with my friend. We went to Hyde Park to have some drinks, and we just had like a hipstery sort of we just had drinks at the park, you know. It was great. We had a great time, good chats, and she did check before we went there. Um, she checked what time does Hyde Park close, because there's all these gates all around Hyde Park. And online it says that Hyde Park closes at midnight. And she and I left the park at around 10:15. So way before closing time. Well, guess what? We got locked in. So that was my full moon adventure. I had to climb these massive Hyde Park gates, which are spiky, by the way. So I'm injured here. That's from the spike. I've got a massive bruise here, and I've got massive bruises all over my legs just from climbing. I think my handbag hit me as I was trying to sort of climb over the gate, and it caused me a huge bruise, and even difficulty walking for a couple of days. But I'm fine now, and I have no regrets. But it was certainly a powerful full moon, and it's exactly the type of thing that would happen on a full moon. Like, I just feel like astrology does not mess about. It's so real, and these planetary configurations, let's say, they really do have an effect on us. So today I did a deep dive into my birth chart, and honestly, it's so on point. Like, everything is so for real. what's been happening in my life. And I decided to also check, like, I just wanted to verify if it's like legit. So using my birth chart, I did my horoscope for the exact day when I had my big spiritual awakening, and pretty much the event that changed my entire life path and my entire kind of like worldview. Um, I looked at what my specific horoscope down to my birth chart was like in that moment. Yeah, my horoscope reflected exactly the sort of huge transformative event that occurred and the energies. And yeah, it's kind of trippy to think that it's all in the stars. It's crazy, really. But yeah, astrology is so real. Like, I was a skeptic for a long time, but actually there's a lot to it. um but yeah, and anyways, so one last thing I wanted to mention. So yeah, so that was my full moon, and then on the 11th of July, when the full moon had ended, the energy was back to normal. Like, my energy right now is so good. I feel really aligned. I feel replenished and I feel happy. And, that's all that matters, really. One last thing, and this kind of relates to my first Randonautica journey, um, the one about the event horizon when I saw the butterfly. Um, so I was at work and this butterfly flew in, and it was the most beautiful butterfly in the world. I'm gonna try and kind of like do an AI image here somewhere. I'm gonna try to match the colors, but it was like the most vibrant, beautiful orange butterfly. I have never seen one like this in my life. It wasn't a monarch butterfly, it was a different kind, and it was so beautiful. And we tried to get it out, but it just wouldn't go, and there was like quite a big commotion. A lot of people were trying to rescue this butterfly, but eventually it sat on my hand, which was fantastic, because it just sat like right there. And I was able to take it outside safely, and when I was outside it didn't really want to leave my hand at all. So I had a little negotiation session with the butterfly, and eventually it left. But yeah, I just felt like that was such a cool little synchronicity from the universe. I feel like, yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things. I know that like my videos are mainly about Randonautica, but lately I've been thinking that I want to kind of talk about all the synchronicities as well that are happening to me, just because I want it as a memory for myself. And I felt like that butterfly, it signified change and alignment, and obviously butterflies are seen as like a symbol of transformation anyway. But to me, because of my first Randonautica journey, I also see them as like a symbol of manifestations coming true, manifestations materializing. And yeah, I just feel like it's a good energy. So I just wanted to share it with you guys that, the energy that this video started with, which was like the heavy and, as I suspected, full moon energy, that has all sort of like released now, and I feel happy and I feel replenished and I feel in alignment. So yeah, that's kind of it, and I think it's a good time to end the video. Hey you guys, so just a quick update. I was texting my boyfriend and he's moving house at the moment, and he found some old tarot cards that used to belong to his grandma, and he said he's gonna give them to me. So in a way, the Randonautica intention worked out, and I just wanted to share this update with you guys before ending the video. So yeah, manifestation always works as long as you put something out there in the universe with no resistance. You don't need to worry about how and when you're gonna get it. For example, for me, I would have never expected to find some tarot cards through my boyfriend, but here we are. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. And also, let me know if you would be interested in me doing pick a card readings on this channel. If not, I might start a separate channel just for the tarot. But yeah, let me know if you're interested. Anyway, I hope you have a great rest of your day. This is officially the end of the video now.